Aha! So, good morning, everyone. I was able to post a poll, which is good. I'm just curious about this business of humanely killing crocodiles just because they happen to dine on a person. It'll be interesting to see your reactions. We'll get to that in a second. But first, welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It is a pleasure to see you this morning and every morning. Today is Monday, 25 of September 25th. September 25th, and it rained this morning quite unexpectedly. We had a lovely downpour and a very much appreciated one because it was warm last night. The air was so still, and this morning it poured and it brought everything down in temperature, and it is one of those things in which, I mean, who wants to get anything done when it has just rained? It was just beautiful. So hopefully we'll have a nice, cool morning to clear our head and just get going with whatever it is that we have planned for today. As always, we have headlines and all kinds of interesting things to share. And as always, I welcome those of you that have never watched us live before. If that is you, feel free to let us know by writing the word new in your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. If you are there's something on your mind that is truly important that you wish to share, please feel free to add a capital letter Q to the beginning of your comment. Although I am seeing here that dear Lars is still with no water, and that is precisely the first news item that I want to tackle, as I've seen a couple of reports by SEAPAL that they're working on it. What has been going on, as far as I understand it, is that SEAPAL has been replacing all water pipes leading to the Mina Street tank. And I understand that Gringo Gulch and El Cerro residents have been out of clean water for a number of days. According to this report, new pumps are being installed to send water from the Iturbide tank to the Mina tank, while the pipes that are being replaced have also been in service for over 40 years and are due for replacement. And apparently, the Federal Electricity Commission, or CFE, is also working concurrently on the electrical network in the area, which seems to have resulted in a perfect storm, but one without any water. I certainly hope this gets resolved in the near future, as nobody wants to be stinky. So hopefully we'll keep an eye on this one, and we'll see what is going on, and we'll keep you posted. Meanwhile, yesterday I was upriver and with some dear friends, and Noticias PV reports this morning that water levels along the Río Cuale are at optimal level, and I can attest to this. We were enjoying a wonderful lunch at Moro Paraíso, enjoying the view, and along the way there were hundreds of people enjoying the refreshing water in the river in the midst of what was a fairly warm day. That said, it's worth remembering that due to the surrounding vegetation, it is always a tad cooler upriver. And restaurants along the way could certainly use a boost in sales. So if you find yourself thinking of an interesting place to go eat and you don't want to deal with the heat, um, going up the river is a good option. And of course, we've recommended Moro Paraíso a number of times. They are great friends of ours. And of course, there's the new Birria Taco place, which is a little smaller and more informal, but equally fulfilling, as great options to enjoy up the river. Now, I have a good one from, this came to us from Tribuna de la Bahía. We are in the midst of sea turtle hatching season, and the news outlet reminds us of things not to do if we spot if we spot a turtle laying eggs in the sand. For starters, turtles cannot differentiate between beaches that are full of human amenities like plastic chairs or lounge chairs and umbrellas and those that don't have them. So if you spot a turtle heading to the beach from the water, the first thing you want to do is to promptly remove any obstacles in the vicinity of the turtle, while you must not get closer than 10 meters from them. And of course, you want to prevent your curious dogs from approaching them as well. Flash photography is another definite no-no. And if there are two things that you can do if you happen to see a sea turtle approaching the beach is, number one, you want to call 911 and report it immediately to the authorities. And number two, and this is probably the more community-minded one, is if you're able to stick around after the turtle has laid its eggs, you want to keep a watchful eye, if you can, over the eggs, because people might be inclined to steal them, and that's not a nice thing to do. Two solar eclipses visible from Mexico are approaching, one on October 14 and one on April of next year. The first one, the one that's coming up in 2 to 3 weeks, will be total or partial depending on the moon's actual location and will be fully visible primarily along the Yucatan Peninsula, Campeche, and Quintana Roo. We still don't know how much of it will be visible locally, but we will be reporting back on this as the date nears. And speaking of things that are visible from outer space, here's a geeky moment this past weekend. Well, first of all, I don't know if you remember that a couple of years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, NASA sent out a mission to a nearby asteroid and detonated an explosion in it, just to see what would happen. And at the time, the way the probe was configured is it was configured to pick up some samples and bring them back to Earth, and then they would make the thing explode. Well, the good news is that the samples came back to Earth over the weekend. I was a space geek at some point, I think it was yesterday morning, that I was watching the capsule come back safely to the planet, so that was a good thing. Of course, you have to be a space geek to appreciate these things. And it's also amazing, we were thinking, friends and I, as we were bathing in the river yesterday, in a nice little private stream that we found, it's how much we know about space, but how little we know about our planet. But no musing this morning. Let us keep going with what we have. And what is next here is the weather. That cloud looks like you getting shot after a drug deal gone bad. Well, that's not very kind. That's what Snarky Weather has to say this morning. It is 29 degrees right now. Humidity is at 89%. Ouch. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is high, obviously, at 84 degrees. Our weather forecast for today says humid with mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. A chance of rain of 46%. We've already had rain. I don't know if we'll have any more. But our high is going to be 32 and a low is going to be 27. Then tomorrow, Tuesday, mostly clear skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 34%, a high of 32, and a low of 27. And then Wednesday, thunderstorms in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 79%. It's going to be a wet day, hopefully, a high of 31 and a low of 26. And this brings us to our second batch of news. I want to tell you about one of my favorite places in Guadalajara to eat, and this is Café Chai. Café Chai has several branches throughout Guadalajara, and it is a perfectly wonderful cafe restaurant because it's convenient and it is affordably priced. And today we learn that Chai, the franchise, is turning 20. Um, in the article provided by Informador, and we learned that the trusted brand created by Antonio Orozco and Monica Escoto is turning 20, and they commemorated it by giving some long employees that have been with the company for many years with wonderful prices. Of course, if you want to experience chai, we happen to have a branch here in town. It is located on Francisco Villa Avenue, not far from La Comer. And here you can get a taste of what it's like. And of course, if you are in Guadalajara, again, it is a perfectly wonderful place to eat. And now I need to summon one of my future ex-husbands, my beloved Dr. Simi. You know that I love Dr. Simi. And you know that Mexican audience concert goers are in the habit of throwing these at performers. And some performers have taken kindly to this, other performers not so much. But here is a great feature on someone that has loved, to the extent that you can love being pummeled by little stuffed creatures while she performs, and that is Adele. Hello, gorgeous. Adele just recently posted, let me show this to you. She recently posted a photograph of her Dr. Simi collection. And when the people at Dr. Simi realized this, they invited her to meet the to visit the factory, because, as you know, we have mentioned this before, Dr. Simi, the company, the pharmaceutical company, employs people with different abilities to produce these stuffed Dr. Simis that you can buy, and all kinds of accessories and so forth and so on. And they're wonderful because they employ people that would not be able to easily obtain work elsewhere. Well, once Adele was enlightened by all this knowledge, she acquired a new appreciation for the stuffed Dr. Simis. And she mentioned this in a recent concert in Las Vegas. And I was happy to see her acknowledging and better understanding the meaning of people throwing Dr. Simis at performers. Or maybe not so much the meaning, but the why it matters. That's what I'm trying to say. And let's see, before we get into chit-chat mode, I want to ask you, oh, well, let's take a look at that poll, actually. And the poll says, let's publish. Oh, fabulous. So the more of you think that we should not humanely kill these crocodiles. I personally don't think we should. And the reason I bring this up is because somebody in this happened somewhere in the United States, and the news item jumped at me, because I figured, well, I mean, the fact that a crocodile happened to eat a human does not merit, in my personal point of view, that you should just sacrifice the animal. I mean, you capture them and you put them in a place where they can be safe, like we do here in Mexico, but what do I know? 62% of you think we should not kill them. 38% of you think we should. Okay, duly noted. And now, before we get on with the rest of the broadcast and your comments, I wonder if you have spotted that white chingadera right behind me. That was my mission for this weekend. You see, Friday I had lovely lunch with a lovely man that I'm spending time with, and it's lovely. and that's what I'm going to say. But then this lovely man gave me a ride to the yarn store where I decided my weekend project is going to be a hamper to put my crochet projects in the making, and that's exactly what I did. This weekend, I put together this little hamper, and it was fun and it was much needed, and hopefully it'll make my house a little neater. And I am so very pleased with myself. Do let me know what you did this weekend, and let's take a look at your comments just to see what everybody is up to. And I don't hear my music. There it is. Okay. Many good mornings, Brian. Good morning. I cheated on you. I went back to the yarn store. I am so sorry. Actually, I'm not, because I completed my hamper. Haha. Let's see what else we have. Lots of good mornings. So appreciated. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I totally agree. You know, we used to have many more mornings like today, but this morning was just absolutely fantastic. I can't believe we're now in the fall season and it's still so warm out there. Paco, I have great news. The movie Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe is coming to Mexico movie theaters in November. Thank you for that. I'm not familiar with the film, but I am excited to read about that. There are a couple of other films that will hopefully make it to the local screens in the coming future. Boom, 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 boom. Gary says, love chai. They have a buffet on the weekends and a kids' playroom. Yes, they do. And Harold, who spends a lot of time in Guadalajara, says, we'd like to eat at the chai that is a former mansion on Avenida Vallarta, not far from Parque Revolucion. If you're talking about the one that is right in front of the convent, I love that one. And Logan also has a comment on chai. Chai has come in handy in the last few months, always as a plan B, as many other local eateries go on vacation or temporarily close for the season. Yes. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, thank you for that, Ben. It happened in Florida, indeed. And then Kathleen says, we euthanize dogs who kill children, with a question mark. And I don't know if that means you're approving or disapproving. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, dogs who kill children, should they be euthanized? You know, a part of me says yes, a part of me says no, but then I start wondering, is a dog any different than a crocodile? I mean, they're both animals that don't have brain power to think. But you got me thinking, Kathleen. I'll be thinking about this today. Let's see. Leah says, turtle laying eggs. What do I do? Happened in Yelapa last year. Well, hopefully you were watching when we talked about what not to do. And there you have it. Thanks for your comments on the hamper. And Kelly says, I finally got to go to Guadalajara for a few days. Good for you. I'm getting ready for my next trip, and I am so very, very happy. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. I think we are done, although Joshua has, let's see, where do you put a dog who isn't safe to be around humans? You can relocate the croc to entirely wild area, not the same for a dog. And Leah says, I missed that part. Well, Leah, the good news is that you can watch every Coffee and Headlines episode on YouTube right after its broadcast. Um, and we'll make that happen today, as we always make it happen. With that said, where is my. I seem to have lost control of my buttons. Yes, my buttons are not responding, so I'm going to find my outro screen. My outro screen, there it is. It's Monday. It's time to get on with my research for Stephen Sondheim, which is going to be this coming Thursday, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I look forward to seeing you there. And of course, I look forward to a wonderful week. I hope you'll have a great week as well. And last but not least, I look forward to seeing you again soon, hopefully, even tomorrow. Have a great day.